Greetings and welcome to another end of the year top 10 video. As always, I'm your host Tokyo Guy, and let me just say that 2016 was a fantastic year for the Morrowind modding community. The community released right around 600 new Morrowind mods this year, more than 2015 and 2014. And we also had two really successful modding competitions, the Morrowind Modathon back in May with 29 new mods released, and Morrowind Modding Madness just this past December with 16 new mods released. There's just been a ton of activity in the Morrowind modding community this year, and I really hope this top 10 list will show off many of the best mods released in 2016, though again, as always, this is based on my personal preference, and it may be missing a few mods. I've actually tried to provide an equal number of content and graphics mods in this year's list, so as to give a bit more variety, which hopefully is fairly evident here. But anyway, with all that said, let's get started with number 10, Dwemer Retexture. Dwemer Retexture was a graphics mod and texture replacer released by Tyddy on May 1st, 2016. And this is a complete, or well, nearly complete texture replacer for all the Dwemer weapons, armors, items, centurions, and yes, the Dwemer architecture that dots the landscape of Morrowind. This is probably the single largest and most complete modern texture replacer for the Dwemer architecture and item set, with only a couple of missing items for things it doesn't cover, like Dwemer crossbows or Dwemer ghosts, but other than that, it really does, cover everything. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Tyddy's past work, he's honestly probably the best lore-friendly texture replacer artist in the community. He's made several packages that cover a lot of Morrowind already, of a lore-friendly and vanilla-style tone, while, at the same time still adding high-resolution textures make your game feel more crisp and up-to-date. And if you're looking to get an updated graphical Morrowind experience, but still maintaining a vanilla and lore-friendly feel, you really can't go wrong with Tyddy's replacers, like his really quite beautiful and detailed Dwemer replacer here. And, personally, I don't really have any strong opinions about replacers myself. In fact, I didn't even, start using graphics mods until about 2013, which means I was playing Morrowind with vanilla graphics for about 11 years. But I have to say that there's a lot to like about this Dwemer overhaul, and the fact that it replaces everything in one easy-to-install package is one of the primary reasons why it's in our number 10 spot for the best mods of 2016, and I'd really recommend checking it out if you're looking to update your game. But anyway, going on, we have number 9, Kilkunda's Balmora. And Kilkunda's Balmora was an immersion and Sight Town expansion mod released by Kilkunda on March 4th of 2016. And this is basically an overhaul mod for the city of Balmora, perhaps one of the most iconic and well-known cities on Vardenfell that, pretty much every player is familiar with to at least some extent. And over the years, there's been countless overhauls and changes made to Balmora by, various mods, and this is the latest one to be released. But it's, certainly a beautiful overhaul nonetheless. And real quick, before we get too far into this showcase, I do need to apologise for the frame rate here. The Morrowind game engine really doesn't handle, detailed urban environments very well, so there's going to be a bit of lag on, most rigs, unless you have a very high-end computer. But anyway, Kilkunda's Balmora does a fair amount really. It transforms and details each area of the city, most notably the canal district here, which now has new walkways, lots of detail and clutter, some fishing and shipping platforms with, cranes and the like, and of course new streetlights and a few railings here and there that were, notably absent in vanilla Morrowind. And other areas have also seen some massive improvements, with a new wall extending out to the temple compound that provides a scenic northern entrance into the city. And that's probably one of my favourite little areas to visit with this mod. The temple compound is just, beautiful here. Of course, there's a lot added to the rest of the city as well, with, new street vendors and merchants here and there, offering various wares and items for sale, streetlights, strings of lanterns that, go in between buildings, and open flames providing for, some really wonderful lighting effects at night time, and lots of additional clutter, pretty much everywhere, but, placed in a lore-friendly and immersive manner. This is really a fairly lightweight and straightforward addition to Balmora that, does a lot to beautify the city here, hence why it's our number 9 pick for our top 10 mods of 2016. Moving on, we have number 8, Sky Diversity. And Sky Diversity was a graphics mod released by SV Engineer 99 on June 1st of 2016. And this was actually the very last mod submitted for the Morrowind May Modathon month competition. And it's an extremely impressive mod really, if I do say so myself. Essentially, Sky Diversity is a graphics mod and external utility that massively enhances the skies of Morrowind with on-the-fly unique sky generation, sky layering, and the addition of cool new special effects to the skyboxes of Vardenfell and Solstein, like, rainbows that sometimes pop up during sky breaks in between, storming weather. And of course, the Aurora Borealis, which you can often see at night time at northern latitudes, though not so much in southern Vardenfell. Sky Diversity actually builds upon the work of Star Wars Gal 9875 with her Skies 4 mod, which was our mod of the year from our top 10 list of 2014, and I would actually say that Sky Diversity is probably the ultimate and best Sky mod for Morrowind. Right now, though it quite obviously still requires and depends upon Skies 4 to work properly. But anyway, the multi-layering sky textures feature combined with the sky breaks and, little things like rainbows just really make this a fun and cool looking graphical aesthetics mod to use, and by extension really helps to make the rest of the game, look better, at least in my estimation. Combine all of that with an extremely easy to use and very thorough user interface that allows you to change the weather on the fly, generate new sky textures, save the current textures, and much more. You can clearly see why this is our number 8 pick for the top 10 Morrowind mods of 2016. Though as a slight disclaimer, I should mention that this mod is very resource intensive, since, basically it's running external third-party programs in the background to generate these sky textures on the fly, and in any event, this is just a very small sampling of everything that Sky Diversity does. For a far more, complete showcase, I'd really highly recommend checking out episode 55 of Morrowind Modding Showcases for a far more detailed look at this amazing mod. Because it really does quite a lot, and we really just can't show off that much in a less than 2-minute time frame here. Next up we have number 7, The Lamp, and The Lamp was a quest mod released by My Eyes on September 10th of 2016. And, I have to confess, this was one of my personal favourite quest mods released from Morrowind in 2016. And, it's not like we get that many quest mods anyway, but even ignoring that, this was a real treat. Some of you may remember that we've actually featured one of this author's quest mods before, back in our top 10 list for 2014, and the author is certainly quite talented, as The Lamp here proves quite well. But let's delve into some of the actual details here, shall we? This quest mod starts out innocently enough. You buy a broken old lamp from a street vendor, and, go to have it repaired. So far, this is all, pretty normal, but that's about where the normalcy with this mod stops, because right after that, you're on a crazy, wild, and insanely creative adventure that involves rats flying in on magic carpets, walls suddenly opening up into Daedric shrines, and the Daedric Prince Mephala herself appearing before you. And as it turns out, by rubbing this lamp, you've summoned Mephala, since it's her artifact that you've accidentally discovered. And as a reward, you may ask for any wish you desire, whether infinite wisdom and knowledge, or to become the most powerful person who ever lived. And this sets you off on one of 2 paths, each a wild and crazy adventure through time and space that'll both entertain and challenge you mentally and physically. Well, physically in terms of your player character anyway. This is truly a one-of-a-kind experience in quest mod, and I really just, can't recommend it enough. You should absolutely give it a try, you won't regret it. And, because we don't get that many crazy adventure quest mods like this, and certainly not to this quality, that's more than enough to make this our number 7 pick for the top 10 Morrowind mods of 2016. Now our next mod on our list is number 6, The Symphony. The Symphony was a graphics and quest mod released by Hedgehog 12 and the Symphony team on February 17th of 2016. And this is quite frankly a really massive mod, one that's far too large to cover to any real extent in a small top 10 video like this. I'd really highly encourage you to check out our full 20+ minute showcase of the Symphony for a far more detailed breakdown of what all this mod does, since we can't possibly cover it all here. But to provide a short synopsis, the Symphony is a massive graphics replacer mod that replaces every miscellaneous item, weapon, piece of armor, book, ingredient, potion, light source, and creature in the game with new models and textures that are largely inspired by Eastern European RPG art styles and designs. In addition to all that, this mod also includes all new ingredients, weapons, and armor for you to discover, as well as eventually quests, dungeons, and new documents. Though keep in mind that currently these haven't all been translated to English yet, and are only available in Russian. And we're only going to be showing off, brief snippets of a lot of the stuff that the Symphony contains here due to, time constraints, but hopefully it's enough to give you guys an idea of what this mod is all about. Obviously, this won't appeal to everyone. The art style is very distinctive and, perhaps doesn't always fit in with Morrowind, but it's still a really impressive and great-looking mod, and a lot of work has clearly been put into, some of these models, which are really, quite amazing-looking, if I'm being honest. Now, it should be noted that some of this stuff is available for standalone downloads, such as many of the armor sets here that can be downloaded and installed individually with Hedgehog 12's Better Armor series. So there are a few different options in case you don't actually want to install the entire package. But anyway, regardless of whether or not you care for the art style, the Symphony is one of the largest modding projects to get released in 2016, and certainly one of the more unique mods to get released as well, hence why it's our number 6 pick for the top 10 mods of 2016. Up next, we have number 5, OpenMW Normal Map Texture Replaces, and this is actually a set of 4 mods, Vivek, Clawdu, and Imperial Town's Normal Mapped for OpenMW by Lysol, and Imperial Fort's Normal Mapped by Flash3113. All these were released between April 27th and September 13th of 2016. Now, I've combined all these into just one slot on the list here, since they do basically, similar things, and let me just say, it's certainly an exciting time in the Morrowind modding community for graphics mods. We've got 2 major graphical platforms providing 2 very different directions for graphical enhancement, with OpenMW making it possible to add in normal mapping, and the Morrowind graphics extender recently adding in, physical-based rendering support. But focusing on OpenMW for the moment, 2016 saw the first real major push of major mods for OpenMW, with new graphical texture replaces like these, and also fully functional OpenMW-only mods getting released thanks to the new updates to the OpenCS. While OpenMW still doesn't, to my knowledge, support Distant Land, it does kind of make up for it with these really amazing normal map replaces that Lysol and Flash3113 have been working on, which are, wonderfully detailed and some of the best graphical replaces from a technological standpoint that are, currently available for the Morrowind architecture sets. And, it's especially impressive that they've already covered 4 major architecture tile sets with these replaces, and who knows, at this rate they might even have Morrowind fully normal mapped by the time OpenMW hits a 1.0 release, which, would be pretty fantastic, I gotta say. And really, I hope Lysol and Flash3113 continue their work on updating Morrowind with normal maps, because this, combined with OpenMW as a whole, is a pretty important step to updating Morrowind and making it future-proof going forward. Like I said, these are exciting times for the community, and while we can't, show off too much of these replaces here due to time limitations, I mean, this is a top 10 list. We're supposed to get through each of these mods pretty quickly. I will say that the level of detail and vanilla-style beauty contained in these mods is the main reason why combined, they're my number 5 pick for top 10 Morrowind mods of 2016. Moving on, we have number 4, Matcom's Khajiit. And Matcom's Khajiit was a graphics mod released by Matcom on March 25th of 2016. Like I said before, we got a lot of graphics mods in this year's top 10 lineup. It's been a pretty good year for Morrowind graphics in general, I'd say. And basically what this mod does is it completely replaces the bodies, heads, hairs, and faces of the Khajiit in Morrowind with new beautifully detailed modern models that are perhaps a bit more, similar to the Khajiit that you might be familiar with in, say, Skyrim. And in total, this mod includes 4 completely overhauled heads for both male and female Khajiits, providing a bit of variety to choose from, as well as, several hairstyles as well. And of course, we're going to be taking a closer look at these Khajiit replaces here. This mod comes with 2 versions, an underwear and a nude version, and quite obviously we're only going to be looking at the underwear version here. These are, some truly beautiful and detailed bodies that'll, certainly appeal to the furry types out there, I would imagine, with simply exquisite attention to detail by Matcom. I mean, you can even see individual tufts of fur here and there, whiskers, some really quite stunning looking cat eyes, and much more. And this is without question the best Khajiit replace available for Morrowind at the moment. And we're also going to be taking a look at the female bodies here. And this is, about as close as we're ever going to get to fan service on this channel. But I just wanted to show off more of the detail here for those curious how these replaces look. And real quick, we're also going to be checking out a few of the Khajiit NPCs in Vanilla Morrowind, since this replacer obviously affects them as well. And this is actually the 9th mod in Matcom's Races Redone series with the goal of updating each race graphically. And to my mind, it's actually one of Matcom's best mods yet, hence why it's our number 4 pick for the top 10 Morrowind mods of 2016. Next up, we have number 3, Scamp Replacer and Soldier Replacer. This is actually 2 graphics mods released by Peterbit and Firium between February 20th and May 26th of 2016. And Scamp Replacer was actually released for Morrowind's May Modathon Month modding competition, and it actually won 2nd place in that event, and for good reason, because it's an amazing replacer. Both of these mods actually use PBR, or physical-based rendering, to show an extraordinary amount of detail in each of the models they replace. Physical-based rendering is kind of a new technology for Morrowind. I believe it was only added in with the latest update to the Morrowind graphics extender, released either back in, I believe, the end of 2015 or possibly early 2016. Either way, these are one-of-a-kind model and texture replacers that Peterbit and Ethereum have designed, completely replacing the scamps and soul gems of Morrowind with some truly fantastic and modern remakes. And we're going to be looking at each of these in detail by using normal dynamic lighting and also special physical based rendering. Since you don't need to have PBR installed for these replacers to work, they just look a lot more detailed with PBR. Though it has to be said that regardless of whether or not you use physical based rendering, these replacers look absolutely fantastic. And it should also be pointed out that PBR is somewhat experimental and definitely performance heavy. It causes a lot of lag even on newer high-end computers, as you can kind of see here. But in any event, these are two really great graphical replacer mods and definitely worth checking out if you're, looking to visually update your game, which is why combined, they're my number 3 pick for the top 10 mods of 2016. Coming close to the end here, we have number 2, A Bard's Life. And A Bard's Life was a quest, business, and gameplay mod released by Dwemer on June 5th of 2016. This is a really massive and pretty amazing mod that adds just a crazy amount of stuff to do, but it must be mentioned that this is actually the second version of A Bard's Life. The first version was a sort of, alpha version that Dwemer released years ago, but she's finally finished this really impressive project for 2016, hence why we're covering it in this list, and, this is actually another repeat author on our top 10 list, actually, since Dwemer was also featured in our top 10 Morrowind mods of 2014, which was actually for another very impressive business-themed quest mod. But getting to A Bard's Life in particular here, what this mod does is essentially allow you to play as a functional bard, traveling across Vardenfell playing songs to earn a living. Not only that, but you can also adventure as a bard with several new bardic classes, each with their own unique abilities, and all with new magical spells that can be cast by playing music. And this is a fantastic new way of playing the game that's certainly a lot of fun, but that's hardly everything included in this mod. Not only can you visit taverns and play songs and a bit of coin on the road, you'll also increase your fame the more experienced you become, getting gifts from your fans as you become better known, and eventually building your own bardic tavern, which you can upgrade through a number of quests, including of your own personal quarters that you can use as a home and a weekly revenue from business operations. And this is truly a beautiful and fantastic mod with so much content stuffed in it that it's, again, kind of hard to cover it all here with such, small time constraints of a top 10 video like this. If you're interested in seeing a more detailed showcase of this amazing mod, you should check out episode 53 of Morrowind Modding Showcases for a much more complete breakdown of features and details. And needless to say though, A Bard's Life is an amazing and excellent mod that's definitely well worth playing if you're interested in becoming a bard, and it more than deserves the number 2 spot in our top 10 Morrowind mods of 2016. Finally, we have number 1, the Doors of Oblivion. And the Doors of Oblivion is a massive quest, landmass, dungeon, adventure mod released by Ashtar, aka Dunraw, on June 21st of 2016. And for anyone that's actually been tracking mod releases for Morrowind over the course of 2016, this will come as no surprise. The Doors of Oblivion is without question the biggest, most surprising and amazing mod to be released for Morrowind in 2016. And the really crazy thing is it just came out of nowhere. There were no work-in-progress threads, no screenshots hinting at its release, just BAM! One day there it was. No warning, no heads up, nada. And that's crazy, because this is a massive expansion-sized mod. I don't know if it's really as big as Solstein and Blood Moon, but it's probably pretty bloody close, to be honest. And to go into a bit more detail here, the Doors of Oblivion adds the various realms of Oblivion to the game world of Morrowind, or at least, snippets and small enclaves of various realms anyway, including the realms of Clavicus Vile, the Shivering Isles, the Coloured Rooms, Quagmire, Cold Harbour, the realm of Hermaeus Mora, and much more. Each with their own unique environments, designs, new creatures and NPCs, ingredients and flora, new books, weapons, armor, quests, dungeons. I could go on and on. Like I said, this is just a truly expansion-sized, massive mod for you to explore. And if there's one mod you should check out from 2016, this is almost certainly it. I mean, for Pete's sake, some of these realms have small towns that you can visit. There's just so much content, it boggles the mind how one modder could, possibly make so much. Of course, Ashtar did take advantage of a lot of pre-existing community modders' resources to make the Doors of Oblivion, but even so, I can't imagine how many years they must have been working on this project in secret. And in any event, there's just a lot to see and do in the Doors of Oblivion, with lots of quests to go on, Daedric princes and lords to meet, some pretty fantastic lore design, and amazingly creative realms to explore that just, look beautiful in their design. Though this mod does come with a frame rate warning, since some of these realms can get quite large and detailed. It will make a lot of computers slow to a crawl in some places, but regardless, the Doors of Oblivion is our mod of the year for 2016. There's never been anything quite like it for Morrowind, and it's hard to imagine another project of this scale releasing anytime soon. You should absolutely give it a try and check it out. Now, going into our honorable mentions, our first honorable mention here is for the Wabbajack. And the Wabbajack is an items, quest, and dungeon mod released by Team Wretched Netch, aka Greatness 7, Matthew the Bagel, and Vodfeld Tribes, on December 17th of 2016 as a part of the Morrowind Modding Madness competition. And the really impressive thing here about that is because this was a mod for Morrowind Modding Madness, that means the team here built this mod from scratch in just a single week's time. And it's certainly a very cool little mod to be sure. Basically, it adds in a new Daedric ruined Morrowind, off on its own little island, with a small quest to get the Wabbajack, the famed Daedric artifact of Lord Sheogorath that allows doors to become boars and, so on and so forth. And in order to get the Wabbajack, you have to go through an absolutely really cool looking and beautifully designed dungeon. I suspect a lot of this was the work of Vodfeld Tribes, one of the best level designers I've seen in a while. And anyway, this dungeon ends with a, fairly sizable underground Daedric citadel and city. But for the purpose of this top 10 list, we're going to be skipping a lot of the dungeon and quest here to, avoid spoilers, and we're just going to hop straight to the Wabbajack itself, a beautifully crafted and modeled new weapon for you to wield, and we're actually going to use a special in-game items grabber and physics tool that Greatness 7 designed to take a closer look at the Wabbajack, and it's certainly a very unique looking artifact and weapon. And just like in lore, it can turn people and creatures into all sorts of other things. You can turn your opponents into mud crabs, or Koguti, or netches, or really any other creature in the game. And not only that, each time you use the Wabbajack, it randomizes the enchantment on the Wabbajack itself. So, one moment it might have shock damage, the next it might heal your enemies, the next it may cast a light spell so you can actually see your enemies in the dark, and so on and so forth. It's all just, crazy randomness, the likes of which would, surely please Lord Sheogorath, and this was, one of my personal favourite mods from the Morrowind Modding Madness competition, though all the mods submitted for that competition were, just top-notch, and I'd highly recommend you check them all out. Now, our second honourable mention goes to Belial, a Dismal Daedric companion, and Belial is an NPC, quest, and companion mod released by Hang 'Em Higher on May 31st, 2016 for the Morrowind May Modathon Month competition. This was actually our third place finisher in the Morrowind May Modathon Month competition, and it's a truly fantastic and very dark and depressing companion mod. Hang 'Em Higher has always had a truly wonderful touch to his stories, and the primary reason why this is in our honourable mentions is because of the fantastic writing that he's produced for Belial here. This one actually starts out with a quest given by a haughty high elf, Noir Gan, with a truly splendid and detailed story about the legendary demonic Daedra Belial, and the treachery he allegedly wrought against this high elf's order. And of course, this all leads to this fellow giving you a quest to find Belial and put an end to him. But like with Hang 'Em Higher's other quest mods, there's always multiple ways of ending things. You may recall that Hang 'Em Higher's other major quest mod, Love in the Time of Daedra, was in our top 10 list for the best mods of 2015, and I'm pleased to say that this mod is of similar overall quality. While you can kill Belial, you can also just, make him your companion, and, just bring his doom and gloom attitude with you no matter where you go, providing a constant ray of sunshine to your festivities. He does, of course, come with his own story, background, lots of companion features, thanks to Grumpy's companion scripts, and even a few quests that are unique to him. It's a really fun and well-crafted companion mod, but sadly it's probably the last mod we'll ever get to see from Hang 'Em Higher, as he had to leave the community in 2016 due to ailing health. And if you're still out there, Hang 'Em Higher, I want to thank you for your amazing mods and your contributions to this community. And, I hope you're getting better. We all miss you here, and I hope you return someday. And on that rather sad note, that brings our top 10 list for the best mods of 2016 to a close. And naturally, not everyone will agree with this list, I imagine. I missed more than a few mods probably that others enjoyed, and I encourage you all to share your own favourite mods from 2016 down in the comments below. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.